The dominant primordial beast. Buck had a strong dominant beast inside. This beast grew bigger day by day. It was a secret growth. Buck also had a new cunning. His cunning helped him to adjust to the new life. Buck did not like fights. He always tried to avoid them. His actions were slow and careful, especially between himself and Spitz. Spitz was Buck's biggest enemy. Spitz wanted to fight with Buck all the time. Once they made camp on the shore of the Lake Le Barge. Perrault and Francois made the fire. Then they began to prepare supper. Buck made his nest in the snow and left it when Francois gave out the fish. When he came back, he saw Spitz inside of his nest. Till this moment, Buck tried to avoid Spitz. But now it was too much. The beast inside of him screamed loudly. Buck jumped on Spitz angrily. His anger surprised Perrault and Francois both. Spitz did not take Buck seriously. Francois did not expect a fight between Buck and Spitz. "Ah, give it to him. Give it to him, the dirty thief," said Francois to Buck. Buck and Spitz fought crazily. Suddenly other huskies attacked the camp. They were very hungry. The smell of food made them even crazier. Perrault started to beat other huskies with a club. There was a fight between the sled dogs and the other dogs. Buck never saw such skinny dogs. They were simply skeletons with crazy eyes and sharp fangs. Buck had to fight against them like the devil. After some time, the other huskies ran away into the forest. Perrault and Francois quickly cleaned the camp. Then they tried to treat their wounded dogs. All of the sled dogs had many wounds. "Ah, my friends. What a mess these crazy dogs made. So many wounds," said Francois to his dogs. The other huskies ate about half of their food. Now both the lives of dogs and men were at risk. There were still many miles between them and Dawson. After 2 hours, the harness was ready. The sled dogs were underway. The dog team worked very hard. Besides, it was a very dangerous road. It was 50 degrees below zero. Perrault was a strong and experienced driver. He could see any cliff and avoid it easily. Buck's feet were not as compact as the feet of the huskies. His feet were soft after many generations of dogs. All day he felt pain in his feet. Perrault and Francois stopped to make camp. Buck lay down like a dead dog. He was very hungry and could not move. Then Francois gave Buck some food. Francois rubbed his feet every night after supper. He even made 4 moccasins for Buck. Later, Buck felt much better and his feet grew harder. One morning, one dog went suddenly mad. Buck felt that something was wrong with that dog. He stayed away from it. Francois took the axe and took the head off the mad dog. Buck was very sad. He came closer to the sled. He wanted to be alone. Spitz suddenly jumped on Buck and bit him strongly. Francois saw an unfair fight. He beat Spitz with his whip. "This Spitz is a devil. Someday he may kill Buck," said Perrault. "This Buck is 2 devils. I noticed it when I saw him first time. One day Buck will kill this Spitz." "I know," answered Francois. This is how the war started between Buck and Spitz. Spitz always tried to fight with Buck. He felt that Buck could take his spot as leader. He knew that Buck was a different dog. The clash of leadership was as sure as fate. Buck wanted it with all his heart. His pride of the trace wanted it. Dawson grew closer and closer. Buck always fought with Spitz. He did it very cunningly. The rest of the team went out of control. Things did not go right. There was a problem in the harness. and the reason for this was Buck. Perrault and Francois often heard the sounds of fighting between Buck and Spitz. One cold afternoon they came to Dawson. There were many men and dogs. These men and dogs were busy all day long. The sled dogs at Dawson did all kinds of work that horses did in the Santa Clara Valley. Buck met many Southland Huskies everywhere. Every night they sang a strange song. It was an old song with the pain of many generations. Buck felt the fear of his wild fathers. They were in Dawson for about 7 days. Then they went to Dyea in salt water. Perrault felt a big travel pride. He wanted to make the trip in record time. 2 things made it possible. Firstly, after all that traveling, the sled dogs rested well during the last week. Secondly, the police put some food out for the dogs and men. That is why their load was not heavy. It was really a fast and easy run. But there was no control on the harness. Buck's cunning plan broke the solidarity of the team. Buck had the support of his dogmates. Spitz was not a good leader. The sled dogs were ready to end Spitz's leadership. It was a real protest against Spitz. There was no discipline anymore. The dogs became different with one another. They started to fight more among themselves. Francois and Perrault knew that it was Buck's fault. And Buck knew they knew, but he was too clever to show it. Once one dog saw a rabbit and missed it. Then the whole team started to run after the rabbit. Buck was ahead of all the dogs. But he could not catch the rabbit. Buck felt the old instincts inside of him. Buck felt the sound of his nature calling. It came to Buck when he ran after the rabbit. Suddenly Spitz left the pack and went away. Buck did not know this and went on running. Then Spitz's white teeth suddenly caught the rabbit. Buck did not like that. He jumped on Spitz and tried to bite him. The time for the final fight came. Buck knew that it was to the death. To Buck it was nothing new or strange. He felt no fear. Spitz was a good fighter. Spitz knew his enemy very well. He never ran till he was ready. It was a mad fight. Again and again Buck tried to bite Spitz's throat. But each time Spitz ran away from him. The other sled dogs made a circle around them. Buck used his imagination. He fought by instinct. Then he broke Spitz's left leg. After some time Buck broke the right leg. Spitz fought crazily. There was no hope or mercy for him. The circle of the sled dogs became smaller. None of the animals moved. Then Buck attacked Spitz for the last time. Spitz could not fight anymore. He ran away as quickly as he could. Buck won the fight. He was the champion.